The advance of the rebels in Syria continues unabated and at an impressive speed. Yesterday, the country's fourth largest city, Hama, fell into rebel hands. This means that as of now, after just over a week of offensives, the rebels control two of Syria's four largest cities, Aleppo and now Hama. Remarkably, the battle for Hama lasted only a few days, which is extraordinary considering that nearly 500,000 people live there. Compared to the prolonged battles in Ukraine, where the Russian army needed months and tens of thousands of casualties to take cities like Bakhmut, this shows a starkly different approach to warfare. In today's video, I'll summarize how the rebels managed to capture Hama so quickly and take a look at what could be their next target. After Hama, an even more strategically significant city might be within their grasp. First, let's examine Hama. This city lies on the M5 highway, one of Syria's most crucial roads, connecting major cities like Aleppo and Damascus. Control over the M5 is vital for strategic and logistical reasons, as evident from maps of the region. The rebels' offensive toward Hama followed this highway after they seized northern regions of Syria days earlier. On the night of December 1st, initial reports surfaced online showing rebel forces, many of them from Islamist groups, entering Hama's city centre. However, the Assad regime quickly responded by deploying significant reinforcements northward to defend the city and halt the rebels' advance toward Damascus. This led to fierce battles in Hama, marked by several notable events that provide insight into the dynamics of such conflicts. One such incident occurred near Khan Sheikhoun on December 1st, where 7 Islamist fighters from Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, were killed while attempting to take rockets left behind by Assad's troops. These rockets had been booby-trapped, and when the fighters tried to move them, the traps detonated. On December 2nd, drones played a critical role in the rebel offensive. A meeting of high-ranking Assad regime officers and commanders was targeted by a rebel drone, likely operated by the Shaheen Brigades, a rebel unit specializing in drone warfare. The attack caused multiple casualties, including deaths and injuries among Assad's top officers, further weakening the regime's defensive capabilities. Despite these setbacks, the Assad regime mounted a counter-offensive on December 4th, supported by special forces and heavy airstrikes from both the Syrian and Russian air forces. The battles were intense, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. Initial reports suggested that the HTS fighters suffered higher losses, and for a moment, it seemed the Assad regime might regain control. However, these efforts ultimately failed. On December 5th, additional Turkish-backed forces, specifically the Sultan Süleyman Shah Division, joined the rebels in their assault. This is significant as it highlights the involvement of two major factions within the Syrian opposition, the HTS-led Islamist groups and the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army, SNA. Together, these forces overwhelmed the Assad troops, forcing them to retreat southward toward Homs. Tragically, the fighting also claimed the life of Anas al-Kabutli, a journalist for the German press agency, DPA, who was killed during an airstrike. Al-Kabutli was a renowned photojournalist who had documented the Syrian civil war for years. Currently, the Assad regime controls a vast portion of Syria, as shown on territorial maps. However, a closer look reveals that large uninhabited areas, mostly desert in the east, account for much of this territory. The population, meanwhile, is concentrated in the west, particularly in densely populated areas now under rebel threat. With Aleppo and Hama already in rebel hands, their next likely target is Homs, Syria's third largest city, with a population of nearly 800,000. Losing Homs would be a devastating blow to the Assad regime, both strategically and symbolically, as it would divide its remaining territories into two disconnected regions, one around Damascus and another along the Alawite-dominated coast. The coastal region of Latakia is particularly significant, as it is the stronghold of the Alawite sect, to which Assad and much of his regime belong. This region also hosts Russia's critical military bases in Syria, including the Khmeimim air base and the Tartus naval base. Any rebel advance toward Latakia would likely meet fierce resistance, as the Alawites fear retribution from the predominantly Sunni Islamist rebels. In conclusion, the rapid fall of major cities like Aleppo and Hama underscores the rebels' momentum, while the anticipated battle for Homs will be crucial in determining the course of the conflict. If Homs falls, the Assad regime's power could be severely undermined, raising questions about how long Assad can remain in control. Further developments in the Syrian civil war will continue to shape the region, and I will keep you updated as the situation evolves.